The crystalline beaches of Nivra shimmered under the golden sun, casting a mesmerizing glow that seemed almost otherworldly. The sand, fine and soft, felt like a warm embrace to anyone who walked upon it. Azure waves crashed gently on the shore, their rhythmic dance a soothing symphony that calmed the soul. Each wave brought with it a sense of peace, a reminder of the timeless beauty of nature. Melchizedek, his wife Asherah, and their two children, Mira and Elias, strolled along the beach. Laughter filled the air, a joyous melody that blended perfectly with the sound of the waves. They walked hand in hand, their footprints leaving a temporary mark on the pristine sand. They were enjoying a much-needed family vacation, a rare escape from the hustle and bustle of their daily lives. The beach was their sanctuary, a place where they could reconnect and create lasting memories. The sun felt warm on their skin, its gentle rays wrapping them in a comforting embrace. It was a perfect day, the kind that seemed to stretch on forever, filled with endless possibilities. The sand cushioned their every step, its softness a stark contrast to the hard, unyielding surfaces of their everyday world. Each step they took felt like a step into a dream, a world where worries and stress melted away. It was a scene of perfect tranquility, a moment frozen in time where everything seemed right with the world. The gentle breeze, the sound of the waves, the laughter of children, it was paradise.
Look at them, Melchizedek. They're so happy. Their joy is infectious, isn't it? It's moments like these that make everything worthwhile.
Melchizedek watched his children play, their laughter a sweet symphony that filled his heart with warmth. He marveled at their innocence, their ability to find joy in the simplest of things. Mira built a sandcastle, her brow furrowed in concentration. Each grain of sand was meticulously placed, her young mind completely absorbed in the task at hand. It was a masterpiece in the making, a testament to her creativity and determination. Elias chased after a crustacean, his laughter echoing across the beach. His carefree spirit was a reminder of the boundless energy and curiosity of youth. Every moment was an adventure, every discovery a new wonder. They were carefree, oblivious to the worries of the galaxy. In their world there were no problems too big to solve, no fears that couldn't be chased away by a day at the beach. A pang of guilt struck Melchizedek. He watched his children, so full of life and happiness, and couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. Was he doing enough to protect them? Was he making the right choices for their future? He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The dreams had been plaguing him for weeks, each one more vivid and disturbing than the last. They were more than just dreams, they were warnings. The dreams had been plaguing him for weeks. Each night he would lie awake staring at the ceiling, the images of burning starships and crimson skies haunting his thoughts. Sleep offered no respite, only more questions and fears. Visions of burning starships and crimson skies filled his sleep. The once peaceful night sky was now a canvas of chaos and destruction, a stark contrast to the serene beach where he now stood. Whispers of an ancient evil echoed in his ears. They were faint, almost imperceptible, but they carried a weight that was impossible to ignore. It was as if the universe itself was trying to warn him of the impending danger. He knew deep down that these were not mere nightmares. They were premonitions, warnings of a darkness approaching, a darkness that threatened not just his family, but the entire galaxy. They were premonitions, warnings of a darkness approaching. The peaceful skies of Nivra seemed to darken with each passing day, a silent omen of the storm that was to come. He forced a smile, pushing the unsettling thoughts away. This was their time, their moment of happiness, and he wouldn't let anything ruin it. Not yet. He wouldn't let his worries spoil this precious time with his family, not yet. For now he would cherish every laugh, every smile, every moment of joy, because in the end these were the moments that truly mattered. Later that evening, as the Nivra sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Melchizedek found himself drawn away from the merriment. The laughter and music from the gathering behind him faded into the background, replaced by the soothing yet haunting sound of the waves crashing against the shore. He walked to a secluded part of the beach, his footsteps leaving a solitary trail in the soft, damp sand. Each step felt heavier than the last, as if the weight of his thoughts was pulling him down. The waves crashed against the shore, a rhythmic counterpoint to the turmoil in his heart. The ocean's relentless motion mirrored the storm brewing within him. a storm of memories and fears that he could no longer suppress. He closed his eyes, trying to meditate, to find peace. The sound of the waves, the scent of the salty air, and the cool breeze on his face were all elements he had once found calming. But tonight, they offered no solace. But the images returned, more vivid than ever. They were not just memories. They were visions, haunting and persistent. He saw the burning cities, the chaos, and the destruction that seemed to be a premonition of what was to come. Burning cities, crumbling under the assault of monstrous earthquakes. The sky was filled with smoke and ash, and the air was thick with the cries of the fear. It was a scene of utter devastation, one that he could not escape no matter how hard he tried. The terrified faces of innocents caught in the evacuation, men, women and children running for their lives, their expressions etched with fear and desperation. These were the faces that haunted his dreams, the faces he felt powerless to help. And then a voice, deep and menacing, whispering his name. It was a voice that sent chills down his spine, a voice that seemed to come from the very depths of darkness. "Melchizedek," it whispered, "you cannot escape your destiny." He opened his eyes, his breath catching in his throat. The fear was palpable, a cold and sharp sensation that pierced through him like a dagger. He felt as if he were drowning in his own anxiety, unable to find a way out. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through him. It was a fear that he had never known before, a fear that seemed to come from a place deep within his soul. It was the fear of the unknown, the fear of what was to come. He had tried to ignore them, to dismiss them as mere figments of his imagination, but the visions were too real, too persistent. They were not just dreams, they were warnings, and he could no longer afford to ignore them, but he could no longer deny the truth. Something terrible was coming. He could feel it in his bones, a sense of impending doom that he could not shake. And he knew that he had to be ready, no matter the cost. And he feared he was the only one who could stop it. The weight of this realization settled heavily on his shoulders, but it also gave him a sense of purpose. He would not let fear paralyze him. He would use it to fuel his resolve. Back at the resort, his family was gathered around a bonfire, singing songs and sharing stories. Their faces were lit by the warm glow of the fire, their laughter a stark contrast to the darkness that loomed in his mind. Their laughter, carried by the gentle sea breeze, reached him like a balm to his troubled soul. It was a reminder of what he was fighting for, a reminder of the love and joy that still existed in the world.
Melchizedek, are you all right?
Ashera, his wife, looked at him from across the fire, her eyes filled with love and concern. She had always been able to sense his moods, to understand his unspoken fears. He knew she sensed his unease. He could see it in the way she looked at him, the way her brow furrowed with worry. But he couldn't bring himself to tell her the full extent of his fears. Not yet. He couldn't bear to burden them with his fears. Not yet. They deserved to enjoy this moment of peace, this brief respite from the chaos of the world. He would carry the burden alone for as long as he could. He would protect them, even if it meant carrying the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. He would face whatever came, no matter how daunting, for their sake. He would face this coming darkness, for their sake, for the sake of them all. With a deep breath, he steeled himself for the challenges ahead, knowing that he was not alone, even in his darkest moments. The next morning, a sense of foreboding hung heavy in the air. The sun, usually so vibrant, seemed dim. The waves, usually so playful, crashed against the shore with an unsettling intensity. Melchizedek couldn't shake the feeling that their idyllic vacation was about to be shattered. A high-pitched tone sounded from his wristcom. Melchizedek's heart skipped a beat. He recognized the signal. It was a priority communication from the Confederation Defense Headquarters in Jebus. Dread washed over him. This was it.
What is it, Melchizedek?
I have to take this, he said, his voice tight. He stepped away from his family, fear and guilt warring within him. He knew this call would change everything. His heart ached at the thought of leaving them. The voice on the other end was grim.
Melchizedek, this is Admiral Jericho. We have a situation, a critical situation. You are needed at headquarters immediately.
The urgency in Jericho's voice was palpable. There was no room for argument. There was only duty. The journey to Jebus was a blur. Melchizedek's mind raced, replaying his nightmares, the haunting images of destruction and chaos that had plagued his sleep for weeks. He couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental was about to happen, something that would change the course of history. Analyzing the urgency of the summons, he pondered the cryptic message that had brought him here. The words "immediate action required" echoed in his mind, amplifying his anxiety. He arrived at the defense headquarters, a place he had been before and whose operations were discussed in hushed whispers. The building loomed over him, a towering monolith of plasmate and translight, its reflective surface gleaming under the harsh lights of the city. It was a stark reminder of the power and authority that resided within. This imposing structure was a stark contrast to the serenity of Nivra, the administrative hub of the Celestial Confederation, also known for its lush landscapes and tranquil atmosphere. He was ushered into a dimly lit briefing room, the air thick with tension. The room was filled with the hum of advanced technology, and the walls were lined with screens displaying various data points and strategic maps. A holographic map of the galaxy flickered to life, casting an eerie glow across the room. The map was detailed, showing every known star system and planetary body. Stars swirling in the darkness, creating a mesmerizing yet foreboding display. It was a visual representation of the vastness and complexity of the universe. Admiral Jericho and a group of grim-faced officers stood around the table, their expressions a mix of determination and concern. They had seen many battles, but this one felt different. Their faces were etched with worry, the weight of their responsibilities evident in their eyes. They knew the stakes were higher than ever before.
Melchizedek, we are on the brink of war. The situation is dire and we need your expertise now more than ever. The Mecha, a cybernetic race from Andromeda, is coming. Their forces are vast, their technology formidable. The Ascended Council has warned the High Assembly that they have taken the habitable worlds of their galaxy and will do the same in ours.
The holographic map zoomed in on our galaxy, the Magellan Cloud. Andromeda had been the point of interest for the Mecha, but now we were the epicenter of the impending conflict. A swarm of red dots pulsed ominously, each one representing a Mecha warship. The sheer number of them was staggering, a visual testament to the threat they posed. Representing the advancing Mecha fleet, these dots moved with purpose and precision, a well-coordinated force ready to strike.
They are heading for the core worlds, the heart of our civilization. If they succeed, everything we hold dear will be lost, and we are all that stands between them and galactic domination. Our forces are ready, but we need a leader who can inspire and guide them.
Jericho turned to Melchizedek, his expression grave. The weight of his words hung in the air, a heavy burden that Melchizedek could feel pressing down on him.
We need you to lead the Starforge fleet. Your experience and strategic mind are our best hope. The Starforge commanders trust you, and they will follow you into battle. Take the Elohim and meet the fleet at the agreed location. The coordinates will be sent once you're on board. Equipped with the latest celestial technology and weaponry, we should have an edge in this fight. The fate of the galaxy rests on your shoulders. This is not just a battle for survival, but a fight for the future of all sentient beings. The responsibility is immense, however, we believe in you.